In this tutorial, I am going to create the lower die 2 outer ring for the button maker project for Project Lead the Way's Intro to Engineering class. I feel like this one looks more complicated than it is. What you see here are section views of the part in two different locations. Now the issue is that this outer lip here actually is not existent on the top 1.5 inches or so of this. So this section view kind of shows what it looks like without that upper lip, and this one shows it with. But I think it would be easier to make the whole thing with the upper lip and then just remove the 1.5 inches worth of it here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by recreating this in Inventor. So here I'll start a new sketch, and I don't know if it really matters which plane to base it off of, but I'm going to start it there. And I will begin just kind of by roughing out using the line tool. If I consider this to be the center axis, it's going to be away from the center, so it's something like I'm just trying to get a general idea of the shape of the thing. It looks like there's a chamfer here, but we can worry about that in a little bit. So something like that. Now I can start figuring out the overall dimensions. So from here to here is 1 inch, and I'm getting that from right here. It looks like that from here to here is 0.0625 inches. Now you'll notice that I put in a bunch of decimal places, 4 decimal places, and it brought it down to 3. That's just because of the precision that Inventor defaults to. If you want to change that, you can come up here to IPT. Actually, no, I'm wrong. It's in Tools, and then Document Settings is the overall settings for this part file. And then I want to go to Units tab, and then I can change the display precision here, so I can go to 4 or 5 decimal places on that. Let's go ahead and go to 5 and click Apply, and you should see that now it's more accurate to the precision that you're looking for right now. In some cases, way too much for what you're needing, but it isn't really adaptive. I'll click on this. Looks like this depth is 0.219. The distance from here to here, and this is all just from that paper. I'm just trying to fill in everything that I'm given here. Now I was confused for a second because I was like, am I given the dimension from here to here? But I actually am. It's just 0.844. I had to look at it from here because this distance is the same as this one because this is the part without that last little lip there. So if I put in 0.844, I think that should be correct. 0.844. Yeah, that looks right. I'm also given a fillet. This fillet here is on this side when I'm wrapping it around to the other side of this. So this has it says top and bottom too, so it looks like maybe on both sides there's a fillet. Trying to decide what it considers to be top and bottom here, probably on both sides of this. So I'm going to use my fillet, go back to my sketch view, get out the fillet, and that fillet should be, Control Z that because I need to change it first. That fillet is 0.031, and I'm guessing it's on this side too is what it means. And there's also a chamfer on this side, and that is a chamfer of 0.06 at 45 degrees. So if I pick underneath my fillet, I can choose the chamfer. I'm given distance and angle. So it is, what did I just say, 0.06 at 45 degrees. Then I can choose that corner. And I'll double check this, make sure I've got everything I think I'll need. Oh, last thing that I do need. The overall diameter of this is 3.0625, which means from the center, I'll just draw a line to be my axis here. from the center to the edge should be half of that diameter. So it should be 3.0625 divided by 2. And that probably won't matter, but I'm going to go ahead and use this constraint to fix this line so that the other thing moves instead. So 3.0625 divided by 2. And now when I revolve this profile along this axis, that should give me the part that I'm looking for. Now the last thing that I'll have to do on this, I'm going to go ahead and set that current view as home, is I have to remove that 1.5 inches of it up here, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw a new sketch on this inner part here. Just draw a rectangle. Oh, I want a rectangle with the center point. So I'm going to line up. And the reason why I did a rectangle with the center point is because that way I can say that I want to make sure that that's vertically constrained, and so that it's in the center. This has a distance of 1.5625. And now when I cut that up, if I do cut, I'll have to flip it. That should just cut the correct amount out of that top, which I think is easier than trying to do it any other way. The last thing that I'm going to have to include on this is, it's very hard to see, but there is a small divot that goes all the way through both sides of it right here. And so that's the close-up of that little divot. How should I make this? Let's do a work plane. I'm going to do a plane off of one of my origins. Let's do off of that, and I'll drag it out to be right on the edge there. And now when I have this work plane, I have to click on the edge of the work plane to create a new sketch on that. And this divot should be, I'll project maybe these lines. I'm not really getting any projections off of it. There we go. I have to click right on the line itself. But this divot should be directly in the center. So there's a divot here. It's 0.031. And I'll have to horizontally line it up with that. So I use the horizontal constraint to ensure that the center of that part is the center of this line. The diameter, or the depth of it, is 0.016, and then I just have to make sure it's right on that center line because that should be in the center of it. So a lot of ways to do this. I'm just going to draw a line and fix it, and then I'm going to horizontally constrain that line. Can I do that? Yeah, so I just use another horizontal constraint to ensure that's that. That's probably not the easiest way to do it, but you'll probably have to use some constraints to ensure that that's in the correct thing. But now I should be able to take this tiny triangle I've created and cut it. I'll just do a really large number to make sure that it cuts through both sides there. And now I have that small divot on both of those. And then I can right click on my work plane and turn its visibility off. I can't delete it because otherwise that will get rid of the new feature I created. And now I have the lower die to outer ring.